Okay, we continue with the user's manual. We almost finished it yesterday. We just had one more little point, so I don't want to skip out of it. 1 second. Where are we? Oh, no. Here it is. Okay, we're on Zion. The last point, after giving us the counsel to tell us that a lot of us are repeated, to tell us that the footnotes are integral to the main message, review is important, and at the end of the book, there's a review of the main sections. Also, not to learn too much too quickly, not to go too fast in this, to know that there's going to be challenges in the middle and you have to hold on and don't let the Yetzer Hara test you and say this isn't cut out for you. And finally, Zion Ozos Emar, we made a lot of efforts in putting this work together. Also, the way to have a very nice language, that's an easy language, not a complicated language. There's really poetic Hebrew and just very simple Hebrew. So try to make it very understandable. The truth is, it says, Pasuk, Yesharim Darchei Hashem, the ways of Hashem are straight. Tzadikim yelchubam, the righteous go in those ways. Uposhim yikashim, but the sinners will stumble in those very ways. Kimeosa inin, in the very same topic, umeosa matpei aloshin, and with the same form of language. Yochel echad lehisorer ulehischazek bavodah. So one person will be aroused and strengthened in the service of Hashem. Another person can hear the very same words and feel a weakening and despair. So, you don't want to write Sfarim to help people and they put them in despair. So therefore, all we can really do after all the work we've done is to raise up a prayer. Hashem should have mercy upon us. There should be no stumbling block that comes from our hands. And our word should only be received by people in a beneficial way. And we are putting our trust in the mercy of Hashem. That all who are learning from a pure heart to Hashem, Yovinu will understand. They'll understand what our goal was and the real explanations and the points we're trying to make. To be encouraged in a place where one should be encouraged, and to be aroused in a place where one should be aroused. That we should be successful and grow a lot on the one hand, and also be careful, meribu or mitzad sheni, not to overdo it, to have too much light on the other hand, and to not succeed. Those who come to purify themselves, Hashem helps them out. Okay, that ends the user's manual. Now, I've been a nice guy. I'm going to give you the first chapter. I think it's important people should follow along and see how I'm reading the text. The only way you're going to learn how to learn a Sefer in Hebrew. If I just say it out, you got to see where the words fit into everything. Okay, the first section of the book, we're on page Yud Zayin. Now we're really beginning the Sefer today. And the first topic is Ahavas Yisrael, love of Jews. And this is a very important topic. These parshios in the Torah are very focused on this. Yosef and the brothers was the first real challenge of Ahavas Yisrael, because primarily there was more than one Jew. You have 12 brothers. So Ahavas Yisrael, and we see the challenges that the brothers had with Ahavas Yisrael. And the tzaddik is starting with Ahavas Yisrael, and we'll see why that's so. I mean, he could have started from a number of areas, But I think as we go through Avos Yisrael, you'll see why this is the first topic. So here's a little bit of a preface. Now, Avos Yisrael is divided up into 2 chapters, and it's a total of about 8 pages. So we could do this, most of it this week, a little bit next week. And that's what we have to be thinking about. Each topic at a time. Our focus now has to be on loving Jews. And he'll explain. Each and every one of us wants to love all Jews. Like Hashem, our Father, in heaven commanded us. Love your neighbor like yourself. It's a command. It's one of the mitzvahs. Okay, he's making a big assumption that we want to love all the Jews. If you're not interested in loving all the Jews, then don't listen anymore. Close up the book and not go further. But if you want to, if we really want to love Jews, then this chapter is for you. Pashas, what's the simple understanding? Lahelv kol adam Yisrael, to love every Jew. Zelo davar kal bechlal. It's not a very easy thing. Ki echef shirli skasher belev emes bekesher shel av emadav lo mukar. How is it possible to have a true, heartfelt connection, a connection of love with a person you don't even know? You have to love all Jews. I don't know most of the Jews. How can I love all these Jews? I see a Jew in the street. I don't know him. How can I love him? And more than that, it's very hard sometimes to have an inner love, even with your friends. It's not so easy. Especially when you see faults in your friends. And all the more so when your friend causes you pain. Someone hurts you. Just a quick little footnote here that he's saying on the test sign, when you see people's faults, and he says, very interesting, and especially Eitzel Avodah Hashem, when we're dealing with those who serve Hashem, Betchilas Darkam, in the beginning of their pathway, when they did not yet come to the proper level. Someone's trying to grow, and this other fellow is not on that level and seems to be disturbing his growth. Okay, you're different than me. And therefore, we will feel that other people might be threatening us. He called Derech ish yasher enough, because everybody's ways are straight in his eyes. According to his understanding of service. And other people is different than there. You're Chassidish, I'm not Chassidish. I have my way, you have your way. Because it's hard to tolerate that. Sorry for that little break. So again, it's what? No. Sorry for that interruption. So therefore, we feel threatened by other people. And it's hard to love every Jew, especially when you're growing and you're finding a path, and you might feel a little insecure. And then you see somebody does something else. So you might want to push that down and say that you're not interested, that's not, you're very uncomfortable with that. Okay, so therefore, avol. So I know it's hard, but the Torah is not given to angels. But there certainly is a way that we can reach a level of loving Jews. And to reach a level, shekasher nira Yehudi, that when you see a Jew, whoever the Jew may be, yismach libeinu liroso, our hearts are rejoicing to see him. Merov avalov, from a lot of love to him. Okay, imagine somebody that you really, if you would see them, you'd be really happy. Okay, let's say one of your children that you haven't seen in months. Right? You'd be really happy to see them. What if they surprise you? Wow, We had at my grandson's bar mitzvah. There were no relatives who came from out of town because of the corona. Just wasn't possible, right? So Friday night, we kept it a secret, and Menachem came in from Lakewood. He didn't know about it until he walked in the door Friday night for the meal. Whoa, you should have seen the smile on his face. He was so happy. So that smile we should have no matter when we see any Jew. If you love a Jew, then when you see a Jew, that's how it should be. That's the goal. If you want to know you have Avas Yisrael, that means when you see another Jew, you're so happy to see them, even if they're very different than you. Okay, that's the introduction, so to speak. Now we're going to get to the nuts and bolts. Perek Aleph, first chapter 1 is called Eich Zochin Lehev Kol Yehudi. How do you merit to love every Jew? That's Perek Aleph. Perek Beis is going to be how do we overcome the things that make it hard for us to do it. So it's first, how do we merit it? That's the first step. What do you got to do positively? And then what do you got to do to overcome the things that are making it hard for us? So that first is, Aseh Tov, and the second one is Sur Meirah, so to speak. So those are the two sections in loving Jews. And the first subsection of Perek Aleph, subsection Aleph, Kol Yehudi hu chelek ma'ashchina hakadosha. Every Jew is a part of the divine presence of Hashem. That's step one. Haderech lischos lev kol Yehudi. The way to love every Jew, we have to enter into the inner world of understanding things. Immediately when you see a Jew, this should be the first thing that goes into your mind, the first thing we have to work on. When I'm looking at the three of you in front of me, I have to just not look at you as who you are by your names, that you wear masks, and we all look a little funny. That's not how I'm supposed to be looking at you, or even by your names, or by your professions. But what I have to be thinking, training myself, I have to look at the inner content in each and every one of you. Dahainu, which means al nishmaso, his soul. Shichelek eloka mimal mamish. It's a portion of God on high, mamish. Literally, that next word mamish was added by the Balatanya. The Balatanya added that word to what we already knew from previous sources, that every Jewish soul is a portion of God. He added the word mamish. That it's not just an analogy. It's really, there's a piece. Now, again, there's different elements of God, but one element that can interface with us is definitely inside and beyond every Jew. So realize that's what a Jew has. And you connect to love that divine part of the person. Lirosha Yehudi is that to see that this Jew, hu chelek mehashchina kedosha, he is part of the divine presence. Ki tzarich lisbanen, you have to think. Shemasi, the truth is, now remember, going back, that's why we learned the 10 principles of the Baal Shem Tov. You see, they're all going to come back to us. Shekol nivreinu davrasmi, anything that's created does not have independent existence. Elu kli legilui or Hashem is for, but it's a utensil to reveal the light of Hashem. Everything, a table, everything has godliness in it. But it will frat Yehudi, but especially a Jew, which is more. It's not just energies that are pushing it, but it's a chelek elokai mimal mamish. It's a portion of God on high, literally, ben shel Hashem yisbarach, a child of Hashem. We have to look at every Jew as a child of Hashem that has the Shechina inside of them. Uberega shenavin ezeh. And once, at the moment you understand that, and more than that, and we live in that reality. Aside then, kasher nira Yehudi, when you see a Jew, miyad niskasher lama shehu be'emes. So then he connects to what is truly there. Dahainu lepnimiyuso, his inner content, that is the Holy Soul. And that's the first thing, and that's the first thing you should be practicing. You should practice whenever you see a Jew. Now, I don't think we really think about this a lot. You see people, So what are you thinking? You might not be thinking at all. I'm just thinking, you think anything about the person? Someone walks into the shul. You think anything about it? Well, maybe if it's getting close to mincha time, you're wondering, is he close to the number 10 or not? That's the sixth guy. Or is he allowed in? Okay. Or has he signed in? Has he taken his temperature? All these things. Right? Or whatever. But the first thing you have to train yourself. Or you say, oh, it looks like he gained a little weight. Or, oh, he's wearing a nice suit. I mean, there's a lot of things we notice about people. But the first thing you have to notice and say, that's a person who has a divinity inside of him. That is a child of Hashem. That's the first thing. You got to get used to just, when you look at a person, you have to make a habit, whoever you look at, if they're Jewish, of course, they have a chelik Elokai mimal. Okay? Ki kol hakoshi lavu. Where is the difficult in loving people coming from? Kesher mistaklim ala chitzonius. When you look at the externals. Ubechitzonius. When you look at the externals, yesh, there is, next page, hevdelim baranashim. There's differences between people. That can cause distancing because people are different. And when people aren't the same, it's not always easy to love somebody. But when you look at the inner content, when you look at that divine spark in a Jew, you can love that in all times. And once a person loves the inner content, then the outer utensils, his conduct, umaisav, and actions, and all other aspects, will then find favor in his eyes. Because there's a rule that the Navi says, Ki al kol pshoim techase avodah. The pasuk says, love covers all iniquity. When you love someone, you don't see faults with them, as we know with our children. Okay. And let's just, on that last point, you see Ches, ube'emes kol Yehudi. And the truth is, every Jew who can most Sefer Torah is like a Sefer Torah. Shafilu haklaf shelo kodesh. A Sefer Torah, it's not just the letters that are holy, but the parchment's also holy. We're going to say that the letters are holy and the parchment's not holy? I know the letters is the main thing, but what are you going to do? You're going to denigrate the parchment? So a Jew, what are the letters of his Torah? It's his soul. So now the housing of that Jew, you're going to split it up now? You're going to say, well, a Torah, I honor the letters, but not the parchment. You can't do that. So with a Jew, if you see the divine part, then you're going to love the whole package. We have children, and obviously all our children have some faults, but we love them because there's a natural love for our children. And we may recognize the faults, but we don't hate them. We don't want to be far away from them. Okay, he's working on it. It'll be better, but I still love him. Let's look at Yud Zayin, where the focus again on Yud Zayin was if you can love the inner content of the soul. Yud Zayin, Mishu Neman LaShem Yisparach, one who is trustworthy to Hashem. First of all, if you're a good Jew, you're always looking for the Shekhinah. You're looking to connect to God. And where's that venue to connect to God? It's the Shekhinah. You're always looking for the Shekhinah. When you see a Jew who misbon, and he reflects on this, that every Jew is a portion of God on high. Then he'll immediately feel a friendship and a love to him. For example, there's a statement that says like this, because whoever loves a father loves his kids, right? So if we love the Shekhinah, Hashem is the source of the Shekhinah. We could find a love for every Jew. When you can see the Shekhinah that's in that Jew. That's the Shekhinah love. Okay, you go to Eretz Yisrael, and you're not on a very busy schedule. Where's the first place you want to go? Why? What for? The Shekhinah's there. And you're not gonna say it's hard to get there. Oh, you gotta go through traffic. Ugh, I go through Israeli traffic. This is impossible. So, he said, what do you mean? I gotta go to the Kolta. How can you go there to Shul and not be in the Kolta? So we have that right. First time when we couldn't go to Shul, we wanted to go back to Shul because the Shekhinah was there. So how about when there's a Jew? Jews also got Shekhinah. If you're a true Jew and you're searching for the Shekhinah, then you're so happy every time you find a Jew. Isn't that like, sometimes when you are away in a strange place and you're looking around at all these people who have different ethnic origins than you are, but can't just smell out a Jew like that? I remember once we were way north in California, Mamish, Goysville. They're all, nothing bad with them, but it's just not Jews. And we're in this store. And there's another Caucasian couple, one wearing a baseball cap and one wearing a dress. So my wife, there's a husband and wife. My wife says, those are Jews. She says, those are Jews. I said, how do you know? What do you mean? Baseball cap. So it's a lot of I was wearing a baseball cap. She says, see? How many non-Jewish women wear dresses? So go over and yeah, they're talking from family, from Mechves, another part, and you're ready to start schmoozing with them. You're ready, friends, and ready they're talking for my wife is talking to the lady for about 10, 15 minutes. They're ready playing Jewish geography, trying to make shidduchim with somebody. So it's because it's a Jew, because you feel the Shekhinah. Right. Let's take it a little deeper. When a person feels that his own internal essence, if I realize that the only essence of me is the divine presence that's shining through me, that's what I am. And every other Jew is just revealing the same Shekhinah that I'm revealing. That's much easier to feel a connection and a unity with another Jew. For the Jew will think, we're the same soul. That's been divided into a lot of pieces. Every Jew is one limb, from a complete body. Where is it hard? Why does it become hard to love another person? Novea mikach flows from the following. Shahada margish es atzmo kimitzius atzmis is when a person sees himself as an independent entity. If you see yourself as your own being, and not that your existence is on loan from God, and not that there's a chiluk all kinds of you, but I'm me. Hashem is there. I'm me, and I can decide if I want to have a relationship with him. That's mistaken identity. You don't even know who you are. You think you're an independent person. Well, obviously, what do we know about that? What's the normal feeling towards strangers? They're strangers. Has nothing to do with me. I'm my own person. You see a stranger in the street, it's a stranger. I have no business with him. So if I have my own independence, so the other guy's got his own independence. So what do I got to do with him? And therefore, why will I ever want to have a connection with somebody else if I have my own independence? Only if I have some benefit of having a relationship with them, no? Consequently, anything that has no direct bearing on him, the more so, and someone that's disturbing him, you instinctively feel a distant from that person. I'm an independent person. If we all view ourselves as independent people, then the only way I would feel any connection for you is if somehow you help me and my independence. It's a very fascinating. We should start thinking about who do we feel close to? Who are our friends? Really friends? Who are people that whenever you see them, you are so happy to see them? I think this would be a really good exercise. list all the people that when you see them, a big smile comes over your face. You're so happy to see them. And then ask yourself, why? Why are you happy to see that person? You know what? I think more often than not, if we're honest with ourselves, we will say, because somehow that person makes my life better in one way or another. I get nachas from the person. I have so much shared feelings with that person, whatever it is, but somehow it has something to do with what I get out of this. But because you're dealing with independent, separate entities. How can you get separate entities to want to be together? What do I care about a stranger? What do I care about a stranger? Unless that stranger somehow is part of my orbit. It's part of my world. So therefore, if I see a stranger, what do I care? Who says hello to strangers nowadays? You're walking in the park. Okay, maybe you're going to do it to be friendly. Maybe, so you don't look discourteous, but not necessarily you want to say hello to anybody because I have no business with that person. It's not bad, good or bad. Just have no business with this person. So there's a lot of Jews, I have no business with them. But if you realize, what are you talking about? I have a portion of God on high. He has a portion of God on high. We're brother. We're part of the same unit. I'm the left hand. He's the right hand. How can I not love that which is part of me? So the first point that the tzaddik is teaching us here, when we talk about unity, it's all these things are going to get into the discussion now. What are you going to do about Jewish unity? Oh, we should get together and do things. That's not where the game is won and lost at all. The game is won and lost at all. How do you view yourself and how do you view others innately? In essence, do you view yourself as a portion of God on high that is just filled with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and another Jew is the same like you? So this is step one before we go any further, how to accurately identify who we are, who other Jews are, regardless if the Jew is secular, religious, or not. They have a chelek elokah mimal completely. We'll end at this point. First thing to work on, whoever you see, remind yourself who they are. Okay, take care, guys.
Thank you, Rabbi.